Hey there guys, been a while since I made another video. I just got busy again, but wanted to do an update on this truck. It's actually changed again since you guys last seen her. I showed you I put a 6.0 in the past video, and it was carbureted. Didn't care for it much being carbureted, so I went ahead and made it fuel injected. It does run and it does drive, but I'm having some issues with it. The wiring still needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but getting there. Need to run some more on these wires. But for the most part, it's wires are mostly where they're gonna sit. Again, you need to do something about the airbox mount it. Since of course on the stock 80s, the battery sits right where the airbox sits on the 2000s. So we're going to do some custom fabricating, or possibly just move the battery to the other side of the truck. Ain't really sure yet, but not too worried about it. What's left to do is I somehow blew a line on my, well, I'm pretty sure it's because of this kink right there, restricting flow, and it blew out from that seal, so I gotta fix that, and then my steering system should be back up and going good. I need to wire in a temp sensor, and actually on LS swap, there's gonna, unless you use the radiator that came out of the vehicle, an LS vehicle, you're gonna have the small coolant line. See if I can get video of that runs through your throttle body, heat it up so it doesn't ice up in winter. Well, you're gonna need to do something with that. You can't, or you shouldn't plug it off. You should run it back into your system. So what I did is, my brother had a VW car he was just sending to the scrapyard, and it had this piece on it already with this fitting in it, which worked perfect. And it was in the cooling system on the VW. Not really sure why they had it, but anyhow, on the bottom of it right there, it was just a plug. I unscrewed it, and that's actually a temp sensor for an aftermarket gauge, and it threaded right in perfectly. So I just need to wire that up, and we should be good there. I need to get a fan shroud yet as well, and move this radiator hose so it ain't right in the way of the fan. Let's see what else is, not much else to do underneath the hood here, other than clean up them wires. Interior, I put it back together. I had it all torn apart. Now these wires are all for my radio, so don't worry about those. I took the radio out and I actually put it in there. So I just bunched up all the wires and put them there. But I wired the check engine light into this port. My OBD2 port is right here, so let me clean up these wires a little bit underneath the dash. I painted the dash black. Looks better than it used to. I need to hook up the gauges. Right now, the only gauges we got is the battery voltmeter, and that's it. For fuel system, I used 3/8 metal. Oh, you won't be able to see from up here, but 3/8 metal brake line, so that should hold up to enough pressure. And then I got this fuel line, which is double clamped at every connection, so it doesn't leak because of the higher pressure that they run at. And this is just to keep water out until I figure out what I'm doing here. This is probably going to be temporary. I don't really like this just sitting out in the box. Even with it mounted and bolted down securely, it doesn't look very good. So not sure if I'm going to move that underneath the toolbox, chop out the bottom of the toolbox, set it underneath there, or what I'm going to do, but that's something to be changed. I need to weld up the exhaust. The pipe fell off, but it's hooked up to the headers, And by the way, if I didn't say it before, them headers are off of 82 to 92 LS swap Firebird or Camaro. So they actually fit pretty good. Other ends, I do some hammering on this side, but it works. Now I cleaned out the interior. This is probably the cleanest this interior's been in a long time. And I got some wires around there that I need to clean up. And the computer's sitting up there. I wanted it inside the cab so it's less likely to get covered in mud or whatnot, as if it was under the hood. There's another thing I should point out. Right here is where your EGR sits. Well, I didn't have EGR. I mean, I got headers, and I'll talk about the wiring in a second. And I didn't have EGR, didn't have the wiring for it. It was completely deleted. So I got a freeze plug. I believe that's 1 3/8 inches, but don't quote me on that. If anyone's interested, I can find you the part number. It's like 60-some cents at O'Reilly's. Now for wiring wise, I followed step-by-step diagram instructions by the name of a guy who goes by lt1swap.com. Just look it up and then you should be able to find it. And it worked really well for it worked well. It's pretty simple, not too hard to follow. And then I also sent him the computer. I did the wiring harness myself, sent him the computer, and he got rid of the VATs for the security. He got rid of the EGR, air conditioning. What else did he do? Tranny. All the tranny controls are gone, since this is a 5-speed, of course. So the computer knows exactly what it's controlling, and the computer is flawless. It works great. No complaints whatsoever with that. You can see I got it all run through the firewall. I need to put this plug in once I get this all hooked up for the fuel pump relay. But it all runs through the firewall right there, so it's pretty clean looking. Didn't have to drill any additional holes. These wires are for a speed sensor, which I still gotta get, but it will run without it, just not quite as smoothly. So that's pretty much it. I can't wait till this thing is finally running and driving again with the 6.0. I'm really hoping it's reliable, which it should be with fuel injection, so I'm really excited. If you got any more questions about it, feel free to give me a holler or shoot me a message or something. I'd be happy to help you out, and I'll give you guys another update once she's running and driving good every day. So thanks for watching, and check out my other videos.